Hello, I'm lecturer Elimination. This is marketing and mice management worker. So the meetings has different purpose and different advantages. So one importance of the meeting, it goes on the attendees. That is one. The next, it goes to the meeting planner. Because if you have already planned a meeting, there is an advantages you are focusing on to those who will attend. And the attendees, there are some benefits who will benefit from those who prepares a meetings. So let's come in a deep by getting some advantages of the meetings. So one is discussion on specific issue. So when an issue is discussed on, or you get some idea about it. So you start to understand your problem is not good. If, for instance, we're discussing on COVID-19. So on COVID-19, so we are coming as different countries. So you may get an impact, or you got an impact from COVID, and another countries they got an impact from the COVID. So some countries may face a great problem than you. So when those problem is discussed on, you start to calm down as understanding that your problem is not good than others. The next one is imparting information or advice. You get an advice from the meetings and some informations. The next one is issuing an instruction. You started to get an instruction about some things. The next one is addressing grievance and arbitrating. The next is making or implementation of the decision. So when the meeting is happening, or during the meeting, there are some decision that implemented. For instance, you have called a meeting and there are some decision you've set it before the meetings come on, or the meeting that has happened in the last time. So in that meeting, there is some implementation of some decisions about the issues you've already discussed on. The next one is generating creative ideas. Through the meeting, you get some ideas from different peoples than what you have. The next one is resolving and controversy and divisive or an issue. So there's some problems that become resolved through the meeting. The next one is presenting a proposal for a discussion and usually for ultimate resolution. So when a meeting is coming or when it is happening, there are different parts that get an advantages. The next one is personal individual. So for the personal, when you attend a meeting, so your mind starts to be sharpened by quickly. So because there are some ideas you got from your colleagues or your workmate, so as to increase what you have in your mind. So let's look on assessing the aim of the meeting. How can you get what you've planned come up? So let you look on those choosing a right type of a meeting. So in a meeting, you should know how to choose the right type of a meetings. Why you have to choose a right type of meeting during informal and formal, how to choose. So most important is that each type is dictated upon by a purpose of the meeting and the time available for the meeting. So for this reason, therefore, one must decide which type is most likely to achieve the purpose before or she begins to arrange and call for the meetings. So by choosing the type or the right type of meeting, you should know on the time. Oh, which time do you have, or how long time, or for the duration, and even the location. There are many things you have to consider before you prepare a meeting. So there's factors to consider when choosing the type of meeting. Once you have decided that you need to hold a meeting, the next step is to consider a number of factors. Oh, there are some factors you should consider. The one, the urgent of the meeting. If that meeting is an urgent, because when your meeting is an urgent, it is different from which is not an urgent. So the next one, what is the most appropriate time for the meeting? Because if you are going to plan a meeting, you should have enough time. The next one is, uh, should it be held immediate or later? Is that meeting is an emergency? Huh? Think about it. So, who need to attend? This is an important question you should ask yourself when you are going to think about the meeting's attendees. So, of course, you will never inform everyone. Huh? You will choose a people to attend on that meeting or an attendees. Next one, what do you want to achieve from the meetings? You should know, and you should have a purpose, what you have to achieve or what you want to achieve. Or the next one, what is the most appropriate venue for the meeting, or where your meeting will take place. You know? That is different questions you should ask where you are going to plan for the meeting, or where you are going to choose a right type of meeting between informal and formal. So the next one is agenda. So what you call the agenda and why is necessary. So an agenda, it can be defined as a list of what is to be dealt with, at a meeting. So agent is that book or is that list that contains some things that will be dealt when you are in the meeting. So there are some different characteristics of a good agent, and so the good agent, it should has an item, or an item in an agent should be those of priority and that need to be discussed now or soonest. So the agent should has things or some tips that will be highlighted or that will be discussed on while you are in the meeting. The next one is it should contain details of the meeting. For instance, date, time, place, and the purpose of the meeting should be there in an agenda. So the next one, or the third one, all participants needed to know exactly what is expected of them in a meeting. Which purpose do you have, or what you want to expect, or your expectation? What's your expectation? Or your expectation? The first one is the time for each item should be stated. Also, in a meeting, there are some things, or there are some highlight you will discuss on, or you will deal on. So in this agenda, each things or each topic should has a time, cause uh, when there is not a time, a person may take, or an attendee may take a time that he wants. So your meeting can be disorganized. That's why you should have a time, or each thing should have a time. So the next one, the time for each item should be stated, and the time devoted for each item should be indicated of its priority. The next one, it should be concise and precise. Concise and precise. The sixth, it should be short and simple and clear. Your agent or agenda should be short so as to help those who are reading or the attendees to understand it very clear and simply. Next one, it should be, or it should state where and when the meeting would take place, where the meeting will take place, or where they will be collected. So it means that it's a location. It's a location where the meeting will take place. The next one, it should specify who is expected to attend. Um, as I said above, no meeting can exist without attendees. The attendees are very important and very crucial, because if you've not set the attendees, your meeting can lose a control and can lose a guideline. So it means that the attendees should be thought in advance. So the next one, the agent should indicate the list of items to be discussed. The item or the topic should be indicated in the agent. The first item on the agent should be approval of the note of the last meeting. Um, in agent or in a book of the meeting, the first item should show us the note of the last time, or the last time we did, which decision that takes place. And the last item should be A or B and the date of the next meeting. So when the meeting is being planned, it should show where the next meeting will exist. The next one, the agent should go to the people who are expected to attend early enough. This gives them enough time to prepare for the next or for the meeting if necessary. The next one, agent should be both realistic and purposeful, because you can't plan an agent which is not or which doesn't have a purpose. And there is some point to note on making a successful meeting agent. What is it and how it should come? The first one, do your homework in terms of last meeting issue. The second, be aware of timing. Know the time and organize well a time. Allocate time for each item. Next one, issue a documentation. In issuing a documentation, consider when to issue a paper or documentation in advance, because each meeting should has a documentation. It means that take a time and think about when to issue a paper or a documentation in advance, and distribute an agent. When an agent is made, it should be given, or you should distribute it. Once you have drafted an agent, send it to other participants for a comments, even an addition or an approval. That's why you should distribute it to others. So the next points we are going to learn on it, it's effective meeting management. So this is a point which is going to show us how the meeting being managed, or how to manage the meeting. So welcome again. Let's meet on the next video.